Welcome to this Doodle With Me session, where the aim is to relax and have some fun doing simple art journaling. If you're new here, hi, I am Stephanie Hahn, and I help busy people de-stress through easy and enjoyable activities like art journaling as well as yoga nidra meditation. This video is intended to be a co-working or body doubling experience where you work, or rather play, alongside me. My hope is that it will motivate you to take time to art journal, and it will help you if you struggle with facing a blank page and not knowing what to do. That means I won't be editing this video to tighten it up. Instead, it will be a spacious, real-time experience, not sped up as many crafting videos often are. The art journaling I do focuses on process, not technique. I'm here to play and to relax, not trying to stress myself out, trying to produce an epic work of art. To follow along, you'll need a piece of paper that is sturdy enough to take watercolor without buckling. I'll be using this 6x6 watercolor journal. And you'll need watercolor paints and one watercolor brush of any shape or size, as well as a marker or gel pen or paint pen to doodle with. I'll be using a black pen, but you can use any color. And I'll be using paint colors inspired by autumn here in Canada where I live. But again, you can use whatever colors you like. Before we begin, let's pause for a mindful breath or two to fully arrive in the present moment. I like to put one hand on my heart and one on my belly, closing my eyes. Turning my attention inward and just watching the breath for a couple of rounds. All right, let's dive in. So I'm going to choose a blank page in my journal. And I've learned from experience that it's generally wise to work on a fresh page and not on the back of a previous page because I've had things bleed through before. So working over here, I am going to work in yellow, orange, and red, maybe a little bit of rusty brown. I'm going to work fairly quickly. I want to keep the watercolor quite wet and see if I can get some fun bleeding to happen. See, I've picked up a dog hair already. Pet houses have dog hair in their art. And so I'm just randomly doing blobs here and there, different shades. I'm not going to fill the entire page. I'm going to leave a few white spots. I think that's quite good for my base. And then one of the things I like to do is press with a paper towel. Sometimes that'll lift up too much paint and look too pale. Oh, I've got another dog hair. Yeah, that lifted a lot of paint and made it very pale. So I'm going to go back in again, brighten some of this up. And then I'll use my heat gun. You could use a blow dryer to speed up the drying. So yeah, you can see that what I just did there with my paper towel was an experiment that didn't turn out as I would have preferred. And that's what this is all about. Experimentation and play. Now I do think I've got a little bit more water than I want in this section, so I am going to pick up a little bit there, maybe a little bit down here, but mostly I'm going to leave that the way it is. Now I'm going to use my heat gun to dry this. And now that I've got a nice random watercolor background there, I'm going to grab my black pen and take inspiration from the shapes that are already on the page. And so I want to divide my page into smaller sections that I can do doodling patterns in. So to divide the page, I'm going to, they say, take inspiration from the natural shapes that emerged with the color. And you'll notice here there's a blob of green from a previous page. These are the things that I love about my art journal. Random surprises, gives me a chance to practice embracing what is. So there, I didn't follow the line of the color. I did my own thing. So just showcasing how there are no rules. Okay, I'm going to leave that like that. Now I'd like to make a circle for a focal point. So I've just grabbed the lid off of some vitamins. I like to do things off center. I think I'm going to go up here and just draw around the outside. Okay. Move these paints out of the way because I'm done with those. And then I want to make this black circle pop more. So I'm going to come around and make it thicker. And you'll notice as I work, I often turn the page so that it's comfortable for my hand, my arm. I'm journaling to relax. So I check in periodically with my body, make sure that I haven't let any tension creep in, that I'm not clenching my teeth, for example. I haven't let my shoulders bunch up around my ears, that my belly is nice and soft. Not sure if my marker is running out of steam, my pen, or if maybe it just doesn't, maybe the paper is still damp. Not sure. Gonna grab another pen. See if this one's better. All right. Now I'm going to go around, and anywhere that there's an intersection between lines, I'm going to just curve, add a little fill in of the corner to soften the join. And when we do this, I love how the picture starts to look like neurons in the brain. Now, I often work, as I am now, in silence. I find the silence quite peaceful. You might want, if you prefer music, to put on something relaxing to help calm your mind even more. Hmm. There's a bit of a tiny space there. I decided to just fill the whole thing in. I quite like that. So that is all of the inner ones. I would like to do it as well along the edge. Just broaden them a little bit at the ends. As though they are connecting with something off the page. Okay. Now I'm going to add some patterns and some words into these sections. So I'll start with just some simple lines. Now I could stop there, but I think I quite like continuing on through this whole yellow section. Now this pen's getting a little dry. I've been journaling a lot. I often like to repeat patterns in multiple sections, often in threes. Just reduces the number of decisions I need to make. Because once you get into the rhythm of making a repeating pattern, that's when you can really still the mind and relax deeply. I think I'll do this here. And I don't worry about everything being straight or tidy. See, I went past the line there. Once you finish a piece like this, there's so much going on the page that the eye is not drawn to any one particular part. All right. Another favorite pattern of mine is spirals. So I'm going to do a big spiral. When it hits another section, I just pretend that it's kind of tucked in behind. I lift the pen and then keep going. I'm going to do this until this entire section is full. I'm going to do it over here. All right, I'm going to switch back and see if this other pen is working better now. No, that one's dry. Boy, oh boy. There we go. And since I like to work in threes, I'm going to do one up here too. There we go. And then how about a word? Fall is a time where in Canada the leaves are falling. So let's do the word release. I'm just making the lines of the letters a bit thinner and a bit thicker in some spots. It almost doesn't matter if you can read it afterward. It's just part of the pattern on the page, really. I have enough space. It's kind of fun to make them different sizes, different heights based on how much space there is in this section. And then, because leaves are what is falling at this time of year, I'm going to fill this section with leaves, different sizes, pointing in different directions. Yeah, it's okay. Touch one another. Have one kind of going half off, a couple of them going half off the section. Maybe I'll just do them over here. All right. And then another favorite of mine is circles. I often start with bigger ones and then go back in and fill the smaller ones. I say circles, but so that one's more of an oval. Sometimes they end up like looking like a bunch of stones. So So again, I make the decision once about the pattern, and then I go into a focus mode, just repeating the pattern over and over till I'm satisfied with the section on the page. I wasn't sure if I was going to do anything more in the focal circle, but I've decided I will. I'm going to color this whole section in black, create an additional, almost a focal point. Now you might be following along and doing the same patterns that I'm doing, but also feel free to experiment with other patterns that call to you. All right. I am going to put something here. I'm going to, I think I'm going to do one more spiral. Now you might want to date your piece on the front or the back. I usually don't. There you have it. If you enjoyed this, you might also enjoy my school community, Calm and Creative Cocoon, where I host a live weekly gathering with 1 hour of playful art journaling together, followed by 30 minutes of a deeply relaxing type of meditation called Yoga Nidra. The link is in the description if you want to check that out. May our paths cross again very soon. Thank you for spending this time with me today.